CBNEXT Live. I'm Ange Mukadi, your host for Happenings on CBNEXT Live.
And I'm Katunda, your host of Next News Review.
And I'm Pastor Naike, your host for Better You. Now, this is our Christmas show, and we are here to celebrate this year that is ending 2011. And I'm here with all my wonderful colleagues here. And we're going to talk about a few wonderful things that happened. Wonderful, I mean positive or negative, that happened throughout the year. So any special event that you can share with us tonight that marked you or got your attention?
Well, that's as far as what marked me this year, I mean, this was an eventful year, unbelievable year. I'm not even sure where to begin. It's been a little bit of everything. I mean, it touched the world in the bigger sense of it. We had disasters from Japan going to Africa. We have economical turmoil in Europe, in America. I mean, this year was very eventful.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
Very challenging.
Yeah. I mean, politically, I mean, there's a lot of instability, a lot of changes. I mean, talk about changes in North America, North Africa, actually, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Oh yeah, in North Africa we had that vague of revolution, the way they called it. It started up in Tunisia, and then it went all the way to Egypt with
yes.
that Tahrir Square.
Yes,
that
yes.
really got famous, where every news outlet sent their correspondents, sending images or reporting from there. And I remember it was something that put everybody on hold. We didn't know how it was going to go.
Yes,
we didn't really know if Egypt was going to get to the level where they are. But thank God everything went well.
Yeah, I mean, not only did it go well, I mean, I want to put this in perspective of what exactly the media was able to do. I'm talking about the internet in particular.
Oh,
I mean, that exactly. Social media had such an impact on the changes that we saw happening in the Middle East particularly.
Yeah, first of all, the person who launched the activity was a guy, very hands-on, all those technology stuff. He took a time off, went out there and started, preparing a revolution. And he connected with people via Twitter, via Facebook, and those Egyptians who were inside and outside, they were in contact, and he was able to really do a real activism via the net. And this actually brings us to the point where we understand that sometimes when people say, well, you're always going to sit there on Facebook and do this and that, you're wasting time. But I think the social media helps actually to free some countries.
And also keep you connected to what's happening out there.
Exactly. And I remember during the Bradley Fair that we had between the government and the protesters, there was at some point they cut off the internet. We didn't have any way to talk with them, and the United States had to intervene and say, well, would you please bring the internet back?
Yes.
And when they did, we were able to get some Twitters, some Facebooks that were showing us actually the images of everything that was happening on the ground. There was no TV allowed back then.
I mean, I guess someone had some comments that I have read online as far as what's happening right now. Some people are already talking about a new age, which is the age of the social network, meaning that there's a revolution happening, and it's going to happen at the level of a social network, at the level of computers, and the level of Facebook. Let's call it that way. It's really bringing about a lot of changes. Even recently, just a few days ago, what had happened in Congo with the election. Yeah. I mean, this is putting more accountability on top of governments, where they won't be able to cheat as they used to. They won't be able to lie to the people as they used to.
Yes. There'll be somebody right there with their phone.
Exactly.
Filming something and posting it right there on Facebook.
Yeah, here's, for example, what happened with Facebook. Facebook had all these people lined up in Europe, in the United States, talking with those folks on the ground in Lubumbashi and Kinshasa. They were telling them exactly what to do. Oh, you know what? You're going to go to the polling station. If you find a truck or something suspicious, go ahead and take a picture of it. Call all the folks that are, around there. Try to really challenge them and find out if it's the right stuff. And if it's wrong, destroy it, take a picture or video, take a video of it, and send it by Facebook, so people who are outside of Congo will see what's happening in Congo.
Wow,
so that was amazing. Now, a lot of people, a lot of naysayers said, well, we don't know in Congo with the level of technology, we don't know how they're going to handle this. But I tell you what, when Tunisia was happening, when Egypt was happening, all these folks from Congo and outside in the diaspora, they were learning about how to
Yes.
do their own movement. Now, the government didn't just stay there lagging. They came up right away and stopped the SMS system, the text messaging.
Amazing. I mean, these people are still trying to have control over people.
People communicating.
Exactly. They understood that communication is the key to changes, and they blocked it immediately.
And the amazing thing is they gave an explanation that kind of made sense back then, because they said, well, if we let them use those SMS, they're going to come up with factual, wrong results that we didn't publish. We want the Electoral Commission to come up with the results first. But check this out. Local media, like Digital Congo, like RTNC, the national television, actually broadcast some of the
same fact
the results that came from the CNI, which was it was even before the CNI came up with the results. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, there was no really justice in the way.
I mean, information is circulating at a speed that we hardly can take control over. I mean, you can try to catch it on one side and then it pops up on the other side.
Yeah, because for example, they stopped the SMS, but they couldn't stop the internet. Guess what? In Congo, people have now air cards. They can use them. They can go onto their laptop and talk with somebody outside on their phone.
There's that BBM thing with Blackberries.
Yes,
exactly.
Where it's just amazing.
Blackberry Mobile, they're basically able to send international message internationally.
Yeah.
I mean, people tweet. I mean, I tweet with friends, and I also share some Facebook comments with friends that are back in Congo.
And then you wonder, how did they do this? Somebody just, tweeted with me this morning, and he said, well, the city is quiet now, but we had 6 dead this morning because the police went and did this and that. He explains the whole thing. And yesterday, I could hear, kind of, see, I don't want to say it's somebody that I know personally, but when he talks, even with 2-3 lines, I understand what he's trying to say. Yes. He said, well, we just woke up and we're waiting for the results. And then later on in the afternoon, he's telling me, well, here's what's going on. The results have been published, but the city is quiet like never before. It's eerie. All over the place. Now, we're just hearing a few gunfires from 2 or 3 different places, and nobody's outside. And I just read that Facebook thing, and I said, "Whoa, my God, this is coming.
This is bad.
This is getting really serious." So, somebody outside of Congo, somebody outside of Egypt, is able actually to get all the facts and stuff that happened. But don't forget Iran. Iran also had the same problem when they went in and stopped people from having the information from Iran, from the cities where people were protesting. But folks were able to go out there and tape with their cell phones and still broadcast.
And I even remember in Japan with the tsunami.
Yes.
At one point media could not even access certain areas of the city, but we had people that had Skype that could go on there and go on CNN via Skype to explain what was going on.
Exactly, and they were just regular citizens doing with their cell phones, with their own laptops.
But again, just like we say, this is creating more accountability on the side of governments. Because they know now they cannot.
They can hide.
Exactly. They have to be accountable for every aspect of the responsibilities they have.
How does CBNEXT help on that? I mean, in that level, when we talk about citizen journalism or citizen reporting?
Well, that's an awesome question, but we're going to answer it in a few minutes after we take this quick break. All right? Can we do that?
Sure.
We're going to be enjoying some cookies here, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
All right.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on waters? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save her sons and daughters? baby boy would save our sons and daughters. Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered would soon deliver you. Oh, Mary. Oh, Mary. Oh, Mary. Did you know? Did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? Mary, 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 did you know that your baby one day save the nations? Oh, Mary. Hello, friends. I'm simply here to welcome you in the spirit of Christmas and want to remind you that Jesus is the reason for the season. So welcome as we get ready to spend a little bit of time in family and the Christmas spirit and share a few stories with CBNEXT and the CBNEXT family along with the rest of the crew. All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
Welcome back here. We are here with our CBNEXT team, and we've been talking about what's been happening throughout the year. And we've been talking about what happened in the Congo, in Egypt, in Japan, and we just spoke about the impact of the social network and how people have been able to communicate, live and show to the world what's happening in their community. And my brother Ange was even saying that now really we have to be accountable, because now the government can't really hide or even lie, because somebody will be right there with their phone or their iPad and they will be recording some live event and post it on Facebook. Right. So right now we want to talk about a little bit how CBNEXT has been able to impact its community and how we've been able to outreach to the people that are listening to us. Now, Brother Franklin spoke a little bit earlier about the news. So how is your show impacting the community that we are in, or at least how you trying to impact? Yes.
Well, it's just easy. When you listen to my show, the show is more of a commentary of what has been happening with the news out there. And it also highlights things that the mainstream media don't talk about. So when we go, for example, and talk about CNN, NBC, Fox News, there are obviously things that they don't mention at all. Now, what I do is I cater to those needs by using imagination. Sometimes I will pick and look, okay, I have like about 5 stories, which one I want on for like 3 minutes. So I would just pick a story that, maybe CNN didn't talk about it, for example, on Congo. And I would say, well, this is what they said in the news, and this is what the official version that what we know, and try to compare and make a comment. And then we leave it to the citizens to listen and understand that, okay, you know what, based on that, I have to be now engaged because I'm a citizen that I can make a change. So my show is more linked to the activism as well. If you look at it, citizens got to be empowered to know that, we always don't trust the government. We can sit down and challenge them. Yes. We can also challenge ourselves to know, okay, which one is our part in order to better ourselves and become good actors, not only in our respective communities, in our society, around the world, and that's exactly what I do. And then also, the next news review is just a little synopsis of every other event that is catching the news, throughout that month. I mean, if you say that for the month of November, right now we're talking about the elections in Congo. What I do is I just focus on that as my main theme, and then I'll get all the stories that connects somehow to that main story.
So really to empower.
Yes, it does impact a lot, because remember, CBNEXT is connected through the social networks, so which have Facebook, Twitter, and now we have also CNN iReport, where we get people to really be connected. Last time I remember, I put one of the video of folks in Montreal in Canada going after Mr. Vital Kamerhe when they were mad at him. I tell you what, it got more views on CNN iReport, because everybody wanted to see, what was this about? What happened? And people like things like that. I think we're actually moving towards impacting them by not only bringing the fun, but also bringing the serious, which is the news and political analysis.
Okay. So when you look at 2011, what are the few topics that you explored and empowered people with?
2011, it's really challenging, because we really don't know. Remember, there was economic collapse in 2010, and we have a high rate of unemployment in the United States. I talked about it in my show when I was talking about President Obama rate of approval going toe-to-toe with the unemployment rate. It just goes all together, up and down. When the rate of unemployment goes up, his approval goes down, and it's just relative. But what I'm trying to say is, when we get to 2011, we're not really sure what's going to happen with the economy, not only in the United States, but we see Greece having problem economically, and the Europeans trying to come around and help and rescue some of the countries that are falling behind. And there is a tendency, which is the Western countries going to Africa for a new way of doing business. And maybe you're going to talk about it, but it is something that really, in 2011, I will focus on companies that are doing illegal exploitation of stuff in Africa, like mining company, like Bloody Diamond Company, and also lobbyists from France and Belgium and the United States who are actually pushed for dictators before they get rid of them.
Amazing. What about you with the happenings? What did you share within this year?
Well, I mean, in the happenings show, as the word happening indicates, what we try to do is try to focus on the community development itself, actually. We want to focus on the impacts that they are having through small actions that they are developing within the community. I would name, for example, just very recently we had an action with Bishop Elise Mulumba, which happened in Washington. I mean, this was an event that they hosted back there in Washington. They had the participation of ex-DS Mukadi, Sir Kimia, as we come to know her right now. There were other intervening individuals, such as Brother Joseph. We also had some very important events from the beginning of the year with Uwezo, which is an action that is under the leadership of Pastor Jose Muzingo, which aim to empower people by facilitating the integration of those immigrants want to come to the United States. We want to make them as productive as possible, as soon as possible. As soon as they get into this country, they try to put them on the path of getting the license, learning English, getting a job as soon as possible, so that they can be contributing to their community as fast as possible. We also helped in other small events that were organized throughout the community. We try to empower them by sharing the information with them, by promoting the events that they are doing, We try to, at the same time, we try also to empower small business with advertisement, making sure that they can also play their role in the development of their community. This is very important to CBNEXT because we believe that it's not just so much about politics. We believe that politics is good. We want to know what's happening, but most importantly, what we want to do is empower them with proper information, proper channel of information, so that they can make better decisions for their businesses, for their churches, and just be better entrepreneurs, better leaders. And that's really what we've been trying to do with Happenings. And as far as next year, we believe that we are on the verge of really developing good relationships with a lot of local churches, not just here in the DFW area where we are, but also outside of the DFW area. Our aim is to really facilitate that channel with all the churches in North America, with all the businesses and organizations in North America, and eventually throughout the world. That's the kind of the vision and the mission that we feel we're empowered or we're impacted with. It is a very crucial time of our life. I believe that this is the time we have the most impact. And we can't be lazy and sit down and sit on all that information. We want to make it practical. We want to make it useful.
Available.
Exactly. We want to make it, it has to mean something, not just in our head, but in our action. It is really about action, and that's what Happening is really all about.
Yes. And also one show that you did to talk about the impact of the passing of the great Pastor Dano. The show was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, this man has touched so many Congolese lives. I really I would point him out as being one of the most influential men of God in the Congo. For the past 20, 30 years that he's been in Kinshasa, he has developed the biggest church, and most churches today in the Congo are developed based on his structures, on what he had taught men of God. And most churches in Kinshasa are becoming very successful. Yes. Spiritually, yes, also financially. They're just becoming powerhouses, and they're taking more responsibilities in the community. And this is thanks to this man, who is a humble man. We know of him as being so humble. Even in his death, actually, he refused any kind of special ceremony.
Yeah, he asked people who who wanted to contribute or bring flowers to instead send a donation for some of the foundation that he, and one of the foundation that he has is to have a hospital boat that can go along the Congo River and then help people in villages. That's just awesome. And himself was born actually in Lambarene in Gabon.
Exactly. Wow. He's an African.
He's a son of Africa.
Yes.
He's an African.
Wow.
And another thing that I really appreciated about his impact, about his life actually. I mean, I myself were really impacted by his ministry.
Yes.
I mean, I went through Bible studies in the Congo through La Borne, which is his church. I did a year of Bible study. I read the whole Bible.
Wow.
Thanks to the program that he set up.
Well, you didn't look like you read the whole Bible.
I wouldn't have done that if it was just by me, but yeah, I was actually at the drive to do it.
And that's how the book by the cover.
Right after you finish yours, I'm going to give my testimony too, because that guy impacted me with something.
Well.
You see, was the Bible, me it's something else.
I didn't get I didn't have the honor to meet him, but what impressed me with him is all the disciples that he has left. And you can see his mark in all of them. I had the honor of meeting Pastor Dalo, and I saw that's
his spiritual
his
side.
Humility really blessed
Pastor
me.
Dalo, Pastor
and other ones.
Zoe Sassi, who's the main worship leader in the church. That church impacted me. I'm telling you, the worship. I used to go there, and I had my cassettes back then. We used to use cassettes, remember?
Come on, powerful media ministry back then already.
And I used to listen to Ron Kenoli and Don Moon. But when I go to La Bonne, which was a French-speaking church, they would have all those songs translated in French.
That's right.
So I would find myself worshiping God. I was just so happy. And that was just a few months before I came to United States. And it was a good experience for me, because the man spoke to my spirit so many times. He taught me to like my country, to be really a patriot, to serve one another, to really show love every time. And guess what? The fact that I was sitting there looking at him, he's white and talking to me, black, by telling me things that can
empower you.
Empower me and make me become a good citizen. I was
not
just
put you down,
and talk about being a good citizen. This is the only man in Congo back in time that was able to address directly the responsible of the government.
People talk about corruption.
In a wise way.
Life.
Absolutely.
In a
He
wise
did
way.
it thankfully.
Yes.
He didn't disrespect anybody.
Yes. We used to worship on the Sunday services with 2-3 members of the government. I'm saying the government, and back in Africa, it's like, well, you can't sit close to them, shoulder to shoulder. You don't do that. But they were all there throwing hands in the air, just praising God and having fun and speaking in tongues. And I'm looking at him, oh, that's the Ministry of Economy.
Wow, what a great man.
Yeah.
What a great man.
That was
so that is what we aim to do. We want to impact people with information that matters. Either through an experience of a leader that we share with them, so that they can also understand why it's important for them to do the things they're doing. Encourage them and hopefully see them become the next Bernard or maybe the next great man of God.
Angel, there's something fascinating about CBNEXT, and I wanted just to share for the viewers who are following us. What is that we are some type of a connection of bridges between the church world, the social world,
society,
and then also
community.
the politics? How do we do that? Because you know what, if we look at just the 3 shows we have here, it serves the community on so many angles.
Absolutely.
On so many angles. And I've watched some of the outlets out there, the news outlets, and what they do. They seem to be narrow-minded. They sit in one area and that's it.
Yes.
And I guess that's a part of the blessing and part of the relevance that we have. We have a mission. I mean, we've been called to do something in particular. We're not ashamed of saying that we're a Christian if we have to say it.
Yes.
But at the same time, we do not, exclude other people. We believe that everybody has something to offer, and when they're willing to listen, we'll let our light shine and let them receive what they can receive.
I think it's about the fact that we have a burden for all, for the person in his entirety to be blessed.
Exactly.
Not just intellectual, but also moral, also spiritual, and I think that's the connection that we are making. And I think, like you said, happenings talk about connecting to what's happening in your community and how to empower the community. And we have the news, how to really empower them to make them understand that they have a voice, that they can stand, that they have power to stand.
The bottom line is that
and
become
be unified,
engaged citizens.
Absolutely, and we better you what we simply do.
Yes, go ahead.
We talk about more the Christian side, the biblical things, but in a practical way. We always since the beginning wanting to share biblical facts, biblical truth, but in a practical way, in an easy way. I think life is already so much complicated. I think life is already so hard. Life is already so hard, so people want to know, this sounds good, but show me how I can apply it to my daily life. And Better You is about that. It's really to empower people to understand that there is a solution for what you are going through. And I can share it to you with practical things. We spoke about money.
That was my favorite show.
Yes.
And God knows I love money, but not the money.
Right? But we need to respect the money, because if we don't respect it, money won't respect us. And I think we can also show it that it is biblical, that it is okay for Christians to have money, because we had this lie that as Christian you can have money, but we need money as a resource to even accomplish any dreams or any projects that we may have. We spoke about how it is important to have a home church, because sometimes with social, it's good, we can watch those preachings on TV, but we spoke about how it is important to have a family, a place where you can call home, and somebody that you can sit under that can mentor you. We spoke about love, God's love. What does it mean to love God? And the verse that we shared was that God is telling us to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I spoke about the fact that we need to learn how to love us first, how to accept us, how to believe in us before we can even try to accept the person that's sitting next to us. So Better You this year was really to empower people to understand who they are in Christ and really give them that strength to be better in different areas of their lives. And I think next year what I want to do is to continue to target those areas. I want to talk about what people don't want to talk about. things that that we hide behind closed doors. Next year I want to talk about abuse. There's so much going on, not just in women, even in men. Verbal abuse, we have physical abuse, children being abused. We'll talk about prophecy.
Yes.
Because we can have people that will go from place to place trying to get a prophecy, but we need to discern what is a prophecy and why would God speak to you? What is your responsibility? So I'm excited about 2012.
Oh yes.
As you say, we are a bridge, and I think the bridge is getting big, and people can connect to us and get different information. So
can you imagine? I got a feedback because, as you know, I'm always on a marketing bridge. I'm the one who get some feedbacks. There's some young men from Lubumbashi who follows Better You, who believes it's a good thing because it's helping him not only to understand the biblical principles in a simple way, but also to learn English.
Oh, amazing.
He can understand English, but a little bit.
Absolutely.
But, following the show on the internet, for him, it's like, oh my God, it's a blessing. So we're impacting people from different walks of life, from different, races, and it's just amazing.
This is absolutely true. I mean, we had the interview we had with Renaud Gumbi on Happenings.
Yes.
It was done in French and English, as a matter of fact. We were able to connect with so many different people. I mean, the Americans who were listening to that were able to get a perspective of what a Congolese worshiper or musician feels like, or what they think like, and how they do their work, and how they impact the churches and the communities. And the same thing, Congolese people were able to get the news as well. Exactly. I mean, it felt very nice, and this was actually we got a lot of hit and a lot of rating out of that show as well. There's so much work to be done though, and we're asking what CBNEXT has to do. We have a lot of responsibility, and we have a lot of work. I mean, we're going to need more people. As a matter of fact, I think next year we're going to be on that tone where we will be recruiting aggressively.
On that same note, can I just add one thing that we all know? For our viewers, we're going to be coming in with a show in Spanish.
Oh,
it's pretty
awesome.
soon. Can we talk about it?
Awesome.
Well, maybe I shouldn't. Not just yet, actually. But the cat's already out of the bag, I guess.
Let's keep it on the warmer.
Like we said, it's about building the bridge. CBNEXT is the community broadcasting network for the next generations.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much meaning behind that.
That's
I would
cool.
believe that, Congolese have responsibilities, and just not toward Congolese, but also toward other people.
Yes.
We were placed in a strategic place, in a strategic country, in the middle of the planet.
Yes.
We're at the heart of the planet, not just the heart of Africa.
Yes.
And it's not an accident. And God equipped us with everything, and He also provided with the provision. All this is for vision and for purpose.
Yes.
And we believe in that.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. And then our viewers in Europe will be also catered pretty soon with a French version of our CBNEXT.
That's correct.
So we will try to help everybody.
Yeah. And of course, the Lingala show is on the way as well.
That's going.
So we want to make sure that we were listening to our audience, and they want us to do these things, and we went back, prayed about it, thought about it, and really agreed that that's probably the best option. That's how we want to do it.
Wow, awesome. I'm loving this. We're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Right.
today, but we have our CFO here, Pastor Patrick, and we're going to give him a minute to say a few words about the vision for, for the future, for CBNEXT. So, how's our future looking?
PDG.
Well, thankfully, the future is actually looking very, very bright for CBNEXT. We're delighted this year, as you heard mentioned here, was a very eventful year for us. Many things happened throughout the year, but the fortunate thing is that they happened for the better. The more we were able to work, and the time investment, we're beginning to see little by little the harvest that we're about to reap from. And so we're really expecting great things for CBNEXT. We're expecting to expand not only our operation, but our staff and many of the things to come. Because as you heard here, we are a company or a team that actually ties a lot of social networks and social things that actually concern the public that you are, the communities that you are. And one thing that we are making sure that we continue to do is to be and provide a solution to both individuals, businesses, churches, and whatever entity that you may be working in. And so every time that we're dealing with a new company, it gives us that experience and that ability to learn a little more to better suit the community that we're serving. And that in itself is a great testament of where we've come from, because we really started from nothing. But we have an office now, and it's really it's really a great accomplishment. And for a few months here, we've been operating really at a capacity that we were hoping and that a company should be working in. And so we encourage you to keep tuning in to our show, to keep on contacting us with any marketing, advertising solution needs for your particular business, and let CBNEXT help you with your business venture, with your church, and with your personal endeavors. All right, so God bless you, and we truly look forward to working with you next year in 2012.
All right, thank you. Right. Now we're going to give a moment here to our CEO, our brother Ange Mukadi, who has a word to tell us.
Well, I mean, the only word I may have to say here is a thank you, first of all, to our audience. If it wasn't for your support, I think it would be
so much for watching.
We appreciate every comment and every feedback we receive from you. We appreciate you tuning in and feeling a part of what we are doing here at CBNEXT. I really don't have much to say except thank you, particularly to these organizations we are already developing some relationship with. I'm thinking about Telema Magazine. I'm thinking about Joshua for Christ, Joshua Generation for Christ.
Ministries.
Joshua Generation Ministry for Christ. We have also, we'd like to thank Last Harvest Church with Pastor Chibasu. We'd like to thank Mountain of Prayer and the Foyer des Aigles with Pastor Jose Muzingu. We want to thank HQ Printing with Papa Paul and Ace, who have been a good partner to many of the things that we've been doing. We'd like to also mention Booty Tech with Martin. Those are people that without whom we wouldn't be able to make as much progress as we did in so little time. Of course, there's so many other people that I'd like to mention. Daughter of Zion, Denage Salon, and Daveco. We don't want to forget, this great gentleman that are doing such a wonderful job in our community developing this business. Just like Pastor Patrick said, if you are out there and you feel we can benefit from your support and you can benefit from our relationship and our marketing strategies and businesses, please give us a call. We would be more than glad to offer our services, be a part of your team. And if I didn't mention someone in particular, we want to say we appreciate all of you with no exceptions. Thank you so much for being a part of our success. And we're looking forward to serving you next year as well.
I just wanted to add about the address of CBNEXT. If you want to come in and visit us, we are 2300 Valley View Lane in Irving, Texas, and that's suite number 213. And then also you can give us a call. Our telephone is at the bottom of the screen as you see it. It's 972-812-1888. So it is 972-812-1888. You can also reach us through our newly designed website, CBNEXT Live, which will have two portions. There's CBNEXT.com, the corporate website, and then also CBNEXT Live, where we will have most of our broadcast programming and all that. So get tuned and stay with us. We'll be out there really to serve the community. You can also send us an email, info@cbnext.com.
So keep watching, and we want to hear from you. So if you have suggestions or things that you want us to talk about, don't hesitate, because we want to talk about what you want to hear, all right? So make sure that you are watching and you are sending us emails and call and stop by, like he said, whether it is to bring support to our CBNEXT, because we're growing, so we'll need volunteers, right? Yes. So whether you want to come and use your talent to help this business go forward, or if you want to just come and check us out, feel free to come.
And we'll make sure that we put in your resume that you did some internship with us.
Absolutely. We'll have a lot of opportunity for entering next year.
Yes.
And I don't want to forget to thank some of our partners, very important partners. Yes. Also new members. We have Ralph with Ralphie World. Yes. We will see more of Ralph's activities, actually. This is a great man of God, very good friend of mine who will be working with us at CBNEXT. We will also have the chance to introduce Scott. We also have Brother Calais. We want to thank for his support and work with us already. And Brother Luke Room, to name only a few, all looking forward to having a great year with them next year.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we are closing our show. This is the last moment, and we're gonna take a have a toast here for 2012.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. And let 2012 be the best year for CBNEXT.
All right.
All
Toast
right.
to you.
Toast to you. And to CBNEXT.
Yes.
To CBNEXT.
To CBNEXT.
To a better world.
Long life.
All right.